Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. We now have a hurricane. Eta has intensified into a Category 1 hurricane off the west coast of Florida. It will pound away on the western side of Florida all the way up to Tampa with some heavy rain squalls and strong gusty winds over the next 24 hours or so. Perhaps to make a landfall near or north of Tampa late tonight or early tomorrow, and most likely in a weakening state. It probably has reached its peak intensity at this time, as it will encounter increasing vertical wind shear as it gets closer and closer to landfall. Nonetheless, it will have a stormy day, especially in the western side of Florida, not only today but into tonight as well. And again, it could reach near or north of Tampa by late tonight or early tomorrow, maybe back down to tropical storm status. But we'll take a look at the radar in a moment. There are a lot of heavy rain squalls right around, circulating around Hurricane Eta. Here is the latest positioning by the National Hurricane Center. First of all, Eta now moving to the north-northeast, and again likely to head towards Tampa or just to the north for likely landfall there late tonight, early on Thursday, maybe back to a tropical storm status by the time it reaches the upper west coast of Florida. Meanwhile, we have another tropical wave here over the Caribbean Sea. That one moving to the west-southwest towards the same area that got hit by Eta a week ago, Central America. And we also have a system here out over the eastern Atlantic that is moving away from the U.S. Into the far eastern Atlantic. So still, even into now the 11th day of November, we have an active tropical scene in the Atlantic Basin. Here's the latest official forecast track by NOAA's National Hurricane Center, which is based in Miami. Again, it is a hurricane right now, Category 1 Hurricane Eta, sitting off the southwest coast of Florida. Will encounter some increasing vertical wind shear over the next 6 to 12 hours or so, probably headed for a landfall as a tropical storm near or just north of Tampa by late tonight, early tomorrow, but all day today into much of the night tonight. There'll be heavy rain squalls throughout the western part of Florida, strong gusty winds as well. After that, it continues to turn to the north and east as a tropical depression out over the western Atlantic by the early part of the upcoming weekend. Well, here's the latest visible satellite imagery loop of Hurricane Eta. This comes from the College of DuPage weather website. Circulation center easily seen right in this region right here. Notice there's a little bit of dry air mixed in near the eye as well. Again, that's inhibiting any further intensification. But also notice some of the scalloping here. These are the higher clouds associated with strong convection. Heavy thunderstorm activity right along the western side of the west coast of Florida. Again, Tampa Bay, for example, to be pounded throughout the day today and night as well, with some heavy rain squalls and some strong gusty winds as it encounters some increasing vertical wind shear. Hurricane Eta likely to fall back to a strong tropical storm status by the time it makes landfall near or just north of Tampa late tonight, early tomorrow, and then it cuts across the rest of the Florida Peninsula on its way out to the western Atlantic by the early part of the upcoming week. Well, here we go. We have Category 1 hurricane just off the west coast of Florida. Well, in terms of the radar map, we have this radar loop from WSI's Intellicast.com. A few things to point out here. First of all, heavy rain bands associated with Hurricane Eta right along the west coast of Florida, again all the way up to Tampa. They'll have some heavy rain throughout the day into the night tonight, and even in the central and eastern part of Florida, they will be impacted by Eta overnight tonight into the day on Thursday, as again it makes landfall near or north of Tampa and then cuts across the peninsula to the southwestern Atlantic. So central and eastern Florida to have some impact as well right into the day on Thursday from what is now Hurricane Eta. Meanwhile, up across the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast, the Tennessee Valley, the first significant rain event in quite a while here. This is all associated with a slow-moving cool frontal system. We've had an extended stretch of dry and unseasonably warm weather in the mid-Atlantic region, for example, and throughout much of the eastern U.S. certainly the dry weather pattern is coming to an end, already to an end in D.C., for example, where some significant rain is already falling. Philadelphia will see steadier rain arrive this afternoon, and then New York City late in the day or early tonight. Some of the rain up and down the I-95 corridor region will be heavy at times throughout the day and night into the day on Thursday. Then cooler air moves in tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. In fact, temperatures could fall tomorrow afternoon in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor after reaching highs early in the day. Today, another warm day with highs at 70 or above in the urban corridor, but cooler air moving in, and certainly it'll be noticeably cooler for Friday and Saturday, especially when compared to the recent abnormally warm conditions that produced some record highs as recent as yesterday. In much of the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor, there were record high temperatures reached on Tuesday. But again, a significant rain event. Meanwhile, as has been the case for the last few weeks, much colder air, colder than normal, confined to the northwestern part of the nation, and even down across the western areas, California, for example, colder than normal, and some decent snowfall up across the northern Rockies. Well, let's quickly go through the surface forecast maps from the operational run of the GFS. It's 6Z. Here is the location of Hurricane Ada. Again, maximum sustained winds at last observation 75 miles per hour, moving north-northeast around 9 miles per hour, and heavy rain, of course, throughout western Florida, and even central and eastern Florida will get some significant rainfall, mostly late in the day or tonight into the day on Thursday. And here is the rain associated with that slow-moving cool frontal system. Again, it becomes a soaking rain event for D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and all the surrounding counties from later today through tonight into the day on Thursday, breaking the dry stretch of weather we've had. And here is the position just to the southwest of Tampa by early tonight for Ada. And that probably makes landfall as a weakening system late tonight, early tomorrow, maybe back to tropical storm status before making landfall as it encounters increasing vertical wind shear. Meanwhile, some significant rain, especially the southern half of the Mid-Atlantic region all the way down to the Carolinas on Thursday morning and into the afternoon. And then Ada cuts across as a weakening storm into the southwestern Atlantic, and cooler air moves into the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., anchored by a cool Canadian high-pressure system. Saturday's highs, for example, in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, probably in the low to mid-50s. That's as compared to the mid and upper 70s that we experienced on Tuesday, which was, again, a record-breaking warm day in many parts of the I-95 corridor region. So a lot going on, especially in the eastern U.S. with Hurricane Ada just off the west coast of Florida, and a significant rain event today and tonight in the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., and all the way down to the Carolinas, associated with a slow-moving cool frontal system. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.